Hello, everyone. It's Jill Whalen here once again for a live or recorded video, depending when you watch it. Um, today's I titled this, or at least I called it on the Facebook group, something like "There's a noticeable difference when we come from personal thought or when we come from mind," and that's mind with a capital M. You could call mind wisdom or our true self or something like that. It's a different place. So we have these sort of two spaces, right, inside of us when we speak to others. And when we're coming from personal thought, it's in a way like the love or fear video I did the other day. We're sort of either coming from love or fear, and personal thought tends to come from the fear part. So when we get frustrated in a conversation, it comes from the personal thought. When we start to get frustrated and we just lash back out at somebody, that kind of thing. So here's a personal example today. And I'm not glad it happened, but I'm glad. Well, anyway, let me just explain what happened. So I was, my adult daughter and I, there's a couple of social workers she's been seeing lately, and we have these nice conversations, the four of us, and I've been using the time to try and, sort of, what's the word? How do I describe it? To get my views across about life, the stuff that I talk about here. It gives me an opportunity because my daughter doesn't always want to listen to this stuff. But it gives me the opportunity to talk about the three principles in a sort of way, and also to try my best to see my daughter as not broken, and try to come from love as best as I can. This is what I've been trying to do for a while anyway, even anytime I'm with her. But as you all know, that's not always easy. So, and that's, I guess, the difference between, when I can come from love, that's that space of mind. When I can see her or anyone else as not broken, that's coming from that space of mind or love or my true self, my true nature, seeing her true nature. So today we were having a conversation, and I was coming from the place of mind for a while. And then, I don't know, she must have said something, or so I found myself frustrated, and I just went back to, poof, like typical human being, okay, fine, if that's how you want it, blah, blah, blah kind of thing, right? And I didn't think much about it when I did it. I was very frustrated in the moment by what I was hearing from her. But the cool thing, sort of, was the one of the social workers, later in the conversation, what they do, there's two of them, and the method that they use is they sort of they talk amongst themselves, sort of, about what they're hearing, and it's a nice way, because that way they're able to talk about the person of interest in a way, what they're seeing. I see that so and so feels frustrated, or whatever it might be, but they did it in regards to me this time. This little of side chatter that they had, and one of them said, I was feeling really good when I heard Jill. She was saying all these things that were like way up here, and really, really, I forget the word she used, but I knew what she meant. And then she said whatever it was, and I don't even remember what it was, and everything just went whoosh, and I was like, oh. And she wouldn't, it was funny because she wasn't looking at me when she was talking about this. I think she felt a little weird, even saying it, but so she was saying it to her colleague, And I'm thinking, oh, right, duh. I was coming from mind. I was coming from that space of love. Got frustrated and then blurted out through my personal thoughts, and you can feel the difference, right? These people, sure, they're trained people, so they know how to spot this, but it doesn't matter. And if they feel it, my daughter felt it as well. You can it almost in a way takes away all of the good I was doing by coming from the space within, and then deleting it all by then just being frustrated and being human, and coming from my personal thoughts of frustration and blurting out stuff. And that's what we do, right? I'm not beating myself up for doing it. I'm actually, I mean, I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad that they called me out on it. And I looked at this woman and I said, "You're right." I said, I did exactly that. I came from a different space, didn't I? And I think she was probably happy that I didn't get all defensive about it, like probably a lot of people would. But yeah, so it just made me think it's something that we all do, and I don't know that I could do it differently, but it's something for me to keep in mind, because I really, really do want to try in any conversation I have with anyone, even in these videos. I'm sure you can all feel the difference when I get frustrated maybe by a question that's been asked a million times, and I start to come from personal thought then, right? Because it's, in our frustration, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same quality to it. And people don't hear that as well. They hear it, but not in a good way. That's not the thing that's going to help anybody. My frustration, expressing my frustration, is never going to help anybody. It might get my frustration out in that moment, but it doesn't help me either, because I start to feel bad, later too, like wishing, oh, that's not helpful of me to talk like that to somebody else, or to you guys, or to my daughter, or to in any conversation. It's not helpful. It's not. I can't, like, again, I'm not blaming myself or beating myself up. We all get frustrated and we all do that. But the key here, I'm gonna say, is in got the sun coming in, is in being aware that now I can be more aware because they called me out on it. So being aware that I do that just like anybody else. And so now I think, for me, I can notice that in the future, and maybe do it less, maybe not, I don't know. But it's something for you guys all to be aware of. And again, it comes down to awareness, aware of what we're doing, because unless we're aware, we can't, it's going to just keep happening. We're just going to be on autopilot and acting the ways we always do, out of frustration, out of anger, out of fear, whatever it is. But the more we can come from, the good place inside of us, and see people with love, the better conversations we'll have, the more transformative they have a chance of being. So that's it. I will probably talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.